What's up, and welcome to Champions of Lore, a show about all the kick-ass stories behind some idle champions, coolest campaigns, and characters. Every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on twitch.tv/CNE Games, or later on your favorite podcast service. B. Dave Walters and Erin M. Evans talk about all the idle champions lore that's fun to know about. If you're with us live in the chat, you can leave a question that I, Treavor Bettis, will ask them later in the show. But until then, Erin, B. Dave, take it away.
Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angels saga, 6-book series set in the Forgotten Realms, featuring 3 of your favorite idle champions, Freedom, Havilar, and Mahen. I'm a content designer for Idle Champions, and I play Cecilia on Dungeon Scrawlers.
I am B. Dave Walters. I say words about things. I'm uncharacteristically snotty-faced. I assure you no one has punched me in the nose that's just swollen from my sinuses. At least if they punch me, I would be sitting here with the ruined stump of their arm. So I'm hard to hit, honestly.
That's fair. I mean, they got to reach up there to the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, they got to get past the reach.
Like,
I got pretty good head movement. Yeah, I've been doing this for a while. You know, it's not that it's impossible. It's surprisingly tricky. So yeah, I do that. And a bunch of an ever-growing cascade of NDAs that I can't talk about because literally like 3 or 4 things just rolled through my head to tell you I do, and I'm like, I can't talk about any of those. So great.
Always fun. Speaking of fun, we're here to talk about the Blood War. An ancient, eternal conflict between two evil sides.
Wait, Trevor, I mean, why are we doing this? Because I think we already know Erin has no particular feelings one way or another.
Not at all. No, that's why I started this off.
Yeah. Whatever. I don't. Okay.
Well, tell you what. So before we get into that, just in case, you know, this is someone's first episode of Champions Lore. They're like, I want to learn about this D&D stuff. I've heard so much about this. And they're like,
what's this Dungeons and Additionally Dragons?
Yeah, what is this? Yeah. What is this? I don't know. Dice? And they may be like, wait a minute, a war between demons and devils. Aren't those the same thing? So like, quick refresher for people. What's the difference between a demon and a devil as far as D&D goes?
So, as far as D&D goes, devils are fiends, which are lawful evil, and they live in the 9th house. Demons are fiends, which are chaotic evil. They live in the abyss. And this distinction has historically been very, very important. Case in point, the Blood War.
Bum, bum, bum.
The Blood War is as Trevor said, ancient eternal conflict between these two factions based honestly largely on the idea, wouldn't it be cool if we made a opposing lawful chaotic factions?
You just put a scene into my head where Gratz like went into Asmodeus' throat and he was like, hey bro,
what's up?
Wouldn't it be cool?
Asmodeus, yeah, like what if we were like locked in endless conflict, bro? Yeah. I just did this for a charity game on Saturday where I had both Zaria and Gratz show up. And again, I don't know why I have the broiest Gratz ever. But amazing. I do. But I will say, I told you guys, I'm not going to say it here in public, but I told you guys who my Gratz was based off of, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I forgot.
I remember.
Here,
Call me later.
I'm gonna put it here in chat right now. However, I will just say, in extremely broad stroke, that's who I'm channeling for Gratz every time. Yeah, that's what he's actually like. Yeah. Yes, Erin, this is a particularly passionate thing, which is good because I can't talk today anyway, so I'm happy to listen. But I will just say, if you boil down that key distinction, because you're like, they're all evil, can't they all get along? And the answer is no, because they're evil. But the demons are creatures of law. The devils are creatures of law. The demons are creatures of chaos. That's why they can't get along. And if you saw Invitation to Party on G4, when Asmodeus showed up, every time he was cutting deals with them, he kept saying, I'm a creature of law. You know, it's not that I'm not going to trick you. I'm going to trick you in the fine print, though, you know, versus just being like, woo, like the demons are.
I genuinely don't think there's ever been anything better on cable television than Abrea and you being snarky gods to each other for almost an hour straight.
Asmodeus and Tamora was quite a joy. That is true. All 10 episodes are up on YouTube if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So
first of all, I would like to point out, gentle listeners, it took me a long time to separate demons and devils because that is not a thing that in English we bother doing.
Yep.
And it is important in D&D, and it is like getting that sort of fracture nailed down. But once it's in, it never, ever, ever leaves, as evidenced by how often I correct people about this when it sometimes doesn't even matter.
Corrected a Catholic priest somewhere. The way that
I honestly went through what would it correct it to? What would the sentence be that would correct to each? I don't. That's too much.
Yeah, the way that I always do it in my head is the devils, demons want to rip you apart, devils want to make a deal with you.
Yeah, the line I think I have in one of the Brimstone Angels books is that Lorcan explains that he's like, let the demons drag you down to the abyss. We know you'll walk through the door if we open the right ones. That basically devils set you up to damn yourself, and demons are the things you don't want to get out of the circle. Which, I mean, that's, I think, kind of cool, because we do tend to take this idea of a fiend and want to put all of those things into it, which makes it a little harder to be clear about what's going to happen here. So having that distinction can be really fun. You can say it's this kind of fiend, not this kind of fiend, so I know what to expect. Which you still probably won't outthink it in that direction, because otherwise it's boring. So again, the Blood War is about how they hate each other. Okay, and this is where I'm gonna have my feelings about the Blood War. Really, this is a thing that it really feels like it was made on paper, right? These two things are different, ergo they fight. What are they fighting about? They're fighting about being different. Where does this take place?
They're fighting about things and stuff.
Things and stuff. It takes place in this spot. That's the battlefield, while they also go to all these other planes. And it's hard to get into a lot of ways, because that's not how wars work. And where I get noisy, and then I'm going to yell about this, and then we can talk about more lore, is there's a really obvious resource that they all should be fighting over, which is souls.
Yes.
I legit was about to be like, souls. Wait, that is the right answer. Yeah.
They don't care. Like, you'll see sometimes they'll be like, oh, well, yeah, no, demons would love to take Avernus. Why? Right? Like, the abyss is never ending. The resources of like territory is kind of a fuzzy thing when it's planar. And then you're right on their doorstep. This doesn't really follow. And then again, like, you have the demons are very like impulsive and reactive, right? They're destructive. So giving them things that are very long-term plans starts to break down the idea of a demon. And now it's not behaving like it's meant to be, and it's no longer very cohesive. But they both want souls, right? And they go about this different ways that demons kind of just like tear them down. Demons rip through things. Devils cultivate systems, right? They create cults, they create followers. This is why I think it does make sense to make Asmodeus a god, because that's sort of like the pinnacle of it. You can have a more legitimate like church going, you can get a lot more people coming in. And so what the metaphor I really like for this is that if people are sheep, then the devils are the shepherds and the demons are the wolves. The wolves just want to go rip through. We're going for like a fairy tale wolf thing. So wolf biologists, please don't at me. Somewhere Rihanna just perked up.
Off in the distance.
It's like, hold up. Some BS is happening. So the wolves want to eat the sheep. They just want to like go through that and keep moving, right? The shepherds want the sheep to stay so they can make more sheep. They can take wool. But at the end of the day, the sheep are going to be mutton. The sheep are not benefiting here. But it's in the shepherd's best interest to prevent the wolves from eating all the sheep. So this is how I think this makes a lot more sense, that you don't think of like, here's the prime material and over here the devils and the demons are butting heads. It's more like, here's the prime material and the devils are standing here going, no, you don't get to come over here, and the demons are leaking past them because they do have the numbers. but they're trying to hold them back. And it's not out of any kind of place of goodness or nobility. It's because that's our stuff. We dibsed it.
We dibsed it?
We need the energy to run that whole 9 hells. Like, we have a system, and you coming in and tearing everything down to its component molecules will mess that up. So we have a resource battle. We have a sort of a territory to defend, but it is sort of reorganized, and it isn't just we hate each other because we are just different, because that sort of starts to lose steam.
Yeah.
Gratz is a really interesting figure in all of this, though, so we could go back to that.
Oh yeah,
yeah, of course. Obviously, you talk about Gratz. Thanks.
Gratz in the background. No, you don't gotta talk about me. It's fine.
You're an interesting figure too. Yeah.
Because there's lore that Gratz actually was a devil, potentially like an archdevil, and that in one of these sort of incursions to stop the abyss, like we come in, we fight in the abyss, Glasia, Asmodeus's daughter, stabbed him in the back and left him there.
He really should have seen that coming.
Yeah, but this is where we get, there's a particular kind of demon, and actually we should mention that one of the reasons we suggested this topic is because Grand Tour is a lot of Out of the Abyss, and right now the Grand Tour 15 I think is the one that's out, and we have introduced Mott, the imp that Havilar has, and Cratch the Quasit, and they are basically feeding the champions lots of lore about demons, and some of that stuff comes from this. So the Babau are demons which were born from the blood of Gratz when he's stabbed like this. Yeah, they're like assassin demons. They also, like, you don't want to look like you don't have anything to do around them because they'll just like drag you in and like now you're fighting. But
as one does.
Yeah, I mean, like that's kind of standard operating procedure for the Abyss, right?
I was about to say idle hands are the devil's workshop, but in this case, idle hands are the former devil's, now current demon's workshop.
Well played. So, as far as like who are the ones that are kind of leading this war on each side?
So that kind of depends on like which lore you pick up and where you come in, right? Belle, the former ruler of Avernus, was often sort of put up as he's the main general, right? Avernus is the edge of the hells, so this makes sense that this is where we can like most defend our territory. We can go out from here into other places to fight. There's like a lot of the time the archdevils stay in their lairs, and so it's their lieutenants that go into battle. For the demons, I'm trying to remember, I think the demons are similar, like they basically are sort of sending people out to do this fight for them, which, you know, that's kind of tracks. But
I will say it seems fairly consistently in terms of brute force, the demons have the advantage. The devils just keep out maneuvering them.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like the Demogorgon. Like the Demogorgon would run everything if its two heads would stop fighting, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I did notice that when I was looking through the article that essentially the majority of the demon lords or demon princes just don't mess with this. They're too busy fighting with each other.
Yeah. Like
I think that would be cool with the Demogorgon like rolling through Avernus. That'd be pretty awesome.
That would get some archdevils off their thrones,
right? Get them working.
Asmodeus versus the Demogorgon.
Mm-hmm.
What happens?
Asmodeus smokes him, and I can tell you why. As Asmodeus absolutely trucks the Demogorgon. The Demogorgon has a stat block. Asmodeus doesn't.
You know what?
That's a good point.
That is that is very fair. So you mentioned Belle there, and you said that he was the former ruler of Avernus. Did his dethroning happen during the Blood War? Because the Blood War is eternal, but I know there was a time
never ends. Okay, so fair, it does, right? Briefly, during 4th edition, it ends. Asmodeus becomes a god, gets the power to like push the abyss away. And because we reorganized the cosmology, so this is our explanation for why the 9 hells are now kind of on the upper side and the abyss is on the lower side. They're two separated. The blood war is ended, except they all still hate each other and want the same things. So we don't have the same front lines we had before because we've reorganized the planes. Perhaps you have some reticence on the demon side to really go hard because that guy now is a god. But there is this simmering tension that doesn't leave, such that it does start again. And I do enjoy that the wiki currently cites the Devil You Know as the first time Anther War being the place where the fresh hostilities and the blood war actually start.
Hey, there you go.
I don't know how accurate that is, but I would like to go ahead and say that's fine.
We've said it on the internet. It's a thing now.
Yep.
We've created plenty of lore.
In that case, it's a proxy thing. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'd just like to mention in passing, we don't know that Dagalt Neverember is not part treant.
100% true. The people deserve to know the truth.
Just saying. I don't know if anybody's checked. There it is.
But what happened with Belle? Like, was that how did Belle get dethroned? Do we know that one?
Did Belle get dethroned? I think it happened twice, so I'm a little like, which one? But that's where Zaria is now.
Yeah, Zaria is now the ruler of Avernus.
Let's see.
One of the things that is a pickle about this, sometimes, dear viewer / listener, hi, hello, is some of these things, the lore comes up in books or in supplements where it says this is what happened. But other times there's adventures and modules where it's like, maybe it went like this, maybe it went like this. And then later on, there may or may not be another module that presupposes what happened. That's why it's like, there's lots of ways this particular sausage got made, depending how you look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Demon sausage.
Demon. That sounds like a Metalocalypse episode.
Yeah. Demon sausage.
So this is why I'm confused. That's right. So it goes like that. Zariel is actually on the throne of Avernus. Belle is her subordinate. Belle supplants her in a coup with the Dark Eight is the group. And he claims the throne of Avernus. This is also one of those things, like whenever there's a shakeup in the hierarchy of the 9 hells, Asmodeus let it happen.
Yeah.
Right. There's a reason. And so
all the time they spend fighting each other is time they're not fighting him or getting together against him.
Indeed. So then we do end up kind of flipping back over, and now Zariel's in the throne again. And he's down in an advisory role because I don't know. You'd be surprised how often devils don't actually get like fully fired.
If I could just point you all to the 2nd edition art for for Belle. I will not be taking any questions at this time for the 2nd edition art for Belle.
Put some pants on.
Oh,
but also I'm like,
hang on, I gotta find where the heck is Belle?
Yeah, I just dropped the link in chat.
Oh, did you? Oh,
yeah,
you're a scholar and a gentleman.
Not gonna say anything else about that. Oh no, the 3rd edition. Sorry, 3rd edition art for Belle. 3rd edition art for Belle. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So we were thinking about making Belle like a little more muscular. Like how many muscles? All of them.
All of them. Yeah,
all of them. And then we'd like to put some muscles on his muscles.
Also, what's up with that sword though?
That's a weird sword.
That's a weird sword.
I'm not gonna lie, that sword is absolutely impractical, and I do not believe he successfully stabbed someone with it, so that blood is fake. He is posing.
There you go. Also, that's my comment on the sword there.
You're not wrong.
Also, I'm gonna be honest though, the 4th edition art, I know this is great for the podcast listeners, even the viewers who can't see this, but you can go to the wiki article and look at it. The 4th edition art looks like how I picture rules lawyers at the table.
Well, but it is weird that like 4th edition inexplicably is Leather Daddy Belle. Like like he's here to administer punishment type thing. Yeah, it's I'm like, that was fourth edition was a lawless time. Yeah. And then a big fan of Labyrinth drew him for the 5th edition, like big Tim Curry energy in the current Belle. Yep.
Oh jeez.
And then,
So yeah, Belle was dethroned at some point. And Zariel is the current ruler. Have we talked about Zariel on here?
we've mentioned her, and I think pending how you play Descent to Avernus, Zariel can get overthrown again by you. So yeah, that's
currently.
Yeah.
You know, we'll
yeah. In the
think about
Eternal
his-
now, yes,
The Eternal
Zariel, the fallen angel, is in charge.
Yeah.
Something that I genuinely like about so there's a lot of lore in this where suddenly what we knew is all incorrect, right? That like, you know, originally Avernus was a beautiful paradise. Was it? Because that's new. But the nice thing is about having the devils be very lawful, be very hierarchy focused, is that this is a system that is rife for propaganda. So maybe this is the story that Zariel wants told. Maybe this is the story that Zariel's enemies want told. Or frenemies, as you're probably kind of framing all of your fellow archdevils, because you are
They would be
100% ready to
frenemies.
shank them if you need to. So that you can have these sort of like these things which are fundamentally someone had an idea and then later someone had a different idea and both got published. You can frame them as in world. This is now the story, and the devils will all repeat it like it's the truth.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be the truth.
I think the devils still think Avernus is a pretty nice place. I will say
You're like,
there's
what do you mean it used to be? It's great.
Right, exactly. How dare? Yeah. Also, I'm going to turn you and your soul into a coin to power my Mad Max vehicle. I will say this Zariel quote is incredible, though. My legions are the only thing standing between your precious 7 heavens and the bottomless hunger of the abyss. I did not fall into the clutches of evil. I rose to shoulder a cosmic burden. That's some Lich King realness, and I am here for it.
That is very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
I do love Zara. Zara's kind of badass.
indeed.
Fallen angel with a freaking maul for a hand. Come on now. Let's go.
There also was a period where Tiamat ruled Avernus. Then there was a period where she got trapped in Avernus.
Yeah, right. She ran things and then she got loose and then theoretically made it back to the surface world and was going to take over everything until a massive collection of heroes impeded her advancement. It's weird.
The best heroes.
Just, you know, I feel like her rights were violated in a number of ways, but that's okay. Whatever. That's fine. She just, wanted to bring order to things. That was all. But yeah, that's it. I mean, where hasn't Tiamat ruled, at least for a time? And where will she not rule in the future? but yes.
One of the things that I did see on here, and I think you mentioned briefly, Aaron, was that the Blood War isn't always contained to Avernus.
No, and it should not be. I will die on this hill. It does not make sense. It should not be.
Yeah, you could just not go there. Yeah, and
I
a whole army of demons going to another place. Oh, this is nice.
Right. Yeah.
We could tear all this up.
Yeah, no, these walls would look great with blood on them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
again,
one of those. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, where wouldn't look good with more blood strewn about the walls is kind of the demon's perspective on all of this.
I think that points back to kind of one of the weak points of this concept, which is that on paper we say this fights that and they do it in this place, but we don't have an actual reason except, oh, they're opposing forces and they cannot let the other exist. Okay, that doesn't apply anywhere else. Why is that here? And that sort of idea of like, well, we're going to contain this in this endless battle place. It's like two cool ideas that need a little more grounding, I feel like. So for me, I don't like saying the Blood War is is that Avernus is the location of the Blood War, because I think it loses the potential of the concept. But you do get a big battlefield.
It's true. I did enjoy describing the Blood War happening around my players in the Descent into Avernus game, and kind of having that as like the stage for the last part of it. I wanted to read two parts. This is from Mordecai and the Tome of Foes, which was like the first time in 5th edition that they touched on the Blood War again. So this part is from the Devils, and this is one that I talked to you before, Erin, about. To the Devil's way of thinking, the 9 hells are the front line in the demon's war against all of creation, and the fate of the cosmos depends on the Devil's ability to blunt the invasion and send the demons back to the abyss. Sorry, I almost said a Destiny line in my head, screaming back to hell.
I think that's what they put in the like political ads. Like, we're here for you.
We want you
against the hordes of the abyss.
That is such
the cosmic.
That is such an Asmodeus twist on it, where it's like, no, mortals, we're doing this for you.
Well, I could see two things. Again, having some insight into how Asmodeus thinks, which is probably not a good thing, but here we are. I could see 2 reasons why the Blood War is good for Asmodeus, and by extension, devils in general. One, if the demons really did run unchecked and gobble up all the souls, that's bad for business.
Yep.
2, by committing Devil's attention and forces towards that, again, that's effort that can't be applied to overthrowing him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
and if you're also trying to get, like, I really enjoy the conception of Asmodeus as a god that protects you against terrible things like demons, right? If people turn to Asmodeus, he will protect them from the demons. Isn't that great? You don't have to fight demons.
He just needs a little soul. Just a little soul. That's all. That's all he needs.
You don't
it's not much.
You won't be using it.
You weren't even using it.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you even doing with it?
Come on.
A god of happiness and a god of protecting you from demons.
See, look at that. Is that the face of someone who would lie to you?
Right. Again,
why
of
lie?
course not.
The truth is so compelling.
Right?
You do just want to do what you want to do. You don't want to do what these gods are telling you have to do. And you definitely don't want to be ripped apart by demons. So we're really all on the same page.
I mean, it just makes sense to me.
Help me help you. Also, you can have Eldritch Blast. You know what I mean? You can smite anyone who offends you whenever you want. You know, because remember, an average commoner has 1d4 hit points. Eldritch Blast does 1d10. It's shotgun hands. You know what I mean? That's what Asmodeus is like. You can have it.
And you put the right thing on it, it will literally send them flying 10 feet. So
literally, pachu. You know what I mean? Like, and all I ask is for a little old soul that you're not using anyway. Yeah.
Okay, come on now.
Don't make Warlock Pact for a soul. Don't trigger the Warlock rant. I'm already having the Blood War rant.
The demons part of this, it had a long thing going back and forth upon ideas. But the last paragraph said, "Therefore, the demons assault the 9 hells over and over, not only because it is their greatest threat to their domain, but also because striking it in force anywhere else would play into the devil's hands."
And also, F them devils. That's why they do it. EFFFF them devils. Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like, part of me does enjoy, looking at, because I always try and take a step back and look at the lore as it being as part of a game that can be at multiple tables. Mm-hmm. And I do slightly enjoy that there is not quite a hard and fast rule for what the war is being fought over, so that, like,
it's souls.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
it's
and
fine.
that makes the most sense. And that's the thing, like, at my table, yeah, it would 100% be souls, because that makes sense. But someone else could take it and decide to do something else with it, which is cool. But it does
end up address so I can come correct it.
Oh boy, don't drop those in chat. Don't DM those.
Come to your house. You ask nice.
But no, I do slightly enjoy that it is left slightly up to interpretation for stuff like that. But at the same time, when it's a war that's been going on for eternity,
Can I talk about another thing that a Blood War thing in 5th edition that I actually really like?
Oh yeah,
Of course.
And also because this was a thing I yelled about to some designers, so I feel like I had a hand in it.
Yeah.
Succubuses.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the day, you used to have succubi, which
Mhm.
are demons. Therefore, they are chaotic evil. They are sort of shape-changing seduction demons. Then you'd have Iranes, who were devils and lawful evil, and they were shape-changing seduction demons, devils. And people would split this hair so fine about how do you lawfully versus chaotically seduce someone to their destruction, and it made me crazy. So anyway, when 4th edition rolled around, they said succubuses are planning ahead too much to really be demons. They're devils now. And this was a thing I grabbed on and made a big like story element of Brimstone Angels, where the succubi switching sides was kind of part of what helped Asmodeus like kind of pull power to become a god, which is absolutely an aftermarket fix up, but still.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the succubi integrate into the hellish society, who are like, yeah, no, you're all very sketchy betrayers, especially the Iranes, who get this new like, you know, tough monster devil form they really quite enjoy stomping people's heads in, but now there's this like tension of you're what I used to be kind of. So in 5th edition, succubi can align with anybody. Right? There are devilish succubi, there are demonic succubi, there are free agent succubi, which I love because it means they can play all sides, because who's to say the succubus fighting next to you, as you, the devils, push out from Avernus to stop demons, is not the succubi that next week you're fighting, because they can change their faces. It also
They're
ties
freelancers.
in. Yes. It also kind of ties in nicely because, again, as the lore has accumulated, we have many queens of the succubi with lots of different sort of facets. So if you have Malconthet in the Hell saying, I'm the true queen of the succubi, and you have Shami Armoray, who sit next to Demogorgon going, no, I'm the queen of the succubi. You have Linkob in the middle going, I don't know what any of you are talking about. And really, they're all colluding. That is very exciting to me. That is interesting.
All of their names sound like doo-wop lyrics. Shanama.
Well, also you were like, I am the succubi queen. I'm just like, this is the weirdest version of Spartacus I've ever heard.
I think it's really great because they do have like these abilities that are very useful on all sides. So you would want succubuses to be on your side, but also you're like, we can't trust them entirely because they can and do easily switch. Like, who's paying more now?
I can't imagine why a shape-changing sex demon might be untrustworthy.
Also, I like that the succubus and the incubus are now the same thing, because why wouldn't they be?
It's true. Yeah, having differentiated that was weird.
Before I pass it over to chat to see what they've been up to while we've been talking, I did want to touch on Yugoloths, because I know that they mess around in the Blood War. They do some things and some stuff.
So Yugoloths are fiends that are neutral evil. They occupy Gehenna, I think, the Grey Waste.
Yes.
In Gehenna. And they are sort of like manipulators, string pullers, like they're the go-betweens a little bit. They kind of play both sides. I know at one point the idea of like when the Blood War ends, it will be when the Yugoloths really kind of throw in.
It was specifically something about the crawling city will enter Avernus or something, or enter the Blood War. It was like something very specific.
That is Shakespearean, though. You know, it's like when the trees walk and a man not born of woman. You know, right.
Yes, very, very close to that. But what have they done anything like significant besides just like softly playing both sides?
They're interesting. They don't get quite as much page space, screen time. Because I think, like, again, we have this thing that works that's cool on paper, and then it's getting a little bit stacked up. What do they do in
I actually just
Bloodborne.
realized I don't think the Yugoloths are mentioned in the Mordecai and Tome of Foes
Yeah, I
as
don't
part
know.
of the Blood War.
Are they? I don't know if are they in 5th edition or is that a thing they haven't got yet?
Yugoloths
Yeah, they
are in
You
Okay.
there.
gloves are, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but I don't see. I mean, I'm sure if it is, chat will correct me. But yeah, I don't currently see anything about them in there. But I do know that they've had influences here and there throughout it. And I just looked up and I saw a picture of this crawling city, and that is terrifying. I would like to hard pass. It is a giant city with a bunch of massive gargantuan arms just underneath it. No, thank you. No, thank you. Trying to quit.
I mean, these
Thanks, I
occupy
hate
a
it.
similar space to those 5th edition succubi, where it's like they're mercenaries. They'll go for whoever is the highest bidder, but they also have their own kind of goals behind, which I start to go like, I mean, if you want, like, I enjoy the conception of Asmodeus as sort of the ultimate plate spinner, right? He knows everything and he's got plans upon plans and plans for if the plans fail, like he's ready. Having someone saying someone is pulling Asmodeus's strings, I'm like, yeah, I think they are.
Yeah, that is one of the
but-
things. That is one of the things about him. And I tried to get this across in my multiple portrayals of him. If you listen closely, hopefully it gets across. He's not at all omnipotent. And even when he's absolutely surprised, he just fakes it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, of course that happened, as I have foreseen. You know, like, he's very smart, but he is not all-knowing. That is true.
Okay, let's take a look and see what chat has been up to while we were talking. Let's see the first one. Gumby Fan 1 question. I don't know if we'll have a lot to say about this, but do you think Baldur's Gate 3's depiction of the Blood War is accurate? I
don't know it.
Yeah, I've played through the what they had of the game out when they first did the early access, and the only thing I remember of the Blood War being in there is the very beginning of the game. Not quite spoilers. It's literally the first time you control your character is in Avernus, and you don't really get to see a lot of what's going on, but they had very accurate stuff to Descent into Avernus. They had like the flying ships and whatnot for Zariel's army, and they had imps and everything flying around. So as far as that one, I thought it looked pretty cool. Plus there was a bunch of really other cool stuff that I'm not going to spoil because that beginning part is bonkers. So I would say accurate enough.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, obviously, D&D has a lot of different expressions and a lot of different mediums, but, these things go through approvals. So, anything you saw in there was signed off on. So,
yeah. And I know Larian is working very closely with Wizards on the lore. Let's see. This is from Tales from Beyond the Screen. Great name. They were saying that this is timely because they're starting up a Descent into Avernus game. But would Tiamat and the dragons take a side in the fight?
Yeah, their side. No. I mean, all things being equal, dragons vary. Some of them are lawful, some of them are chaotic. It would probably break down along that line. But I feel like the dragons would be pro-dragon before they were devil or demon. So
the question becomes, what do they gain by entering this conflict? Right? Like they're not fighting over the same resource. They are not being impacted by the battle happening. So adding in other factions for the purpose of we have the same alignment, you can do anything, right? You can make Asmodeus really, really dumb and the demons all really, really smart if you feel like it. But there's a question there of like, why join in a resource that's something that's going to require resources from you joining in a battle if you are not going to gain something from it?
Yeah.
And so I would say they would just go, that sounds like a you problem. And back out of it.
I like that.
I mean, again, different dragons have different kinds of breath weapons, but I imagine them just like flying in. They're like, we'll crush all these creatures, flame breath, and all the demons and devils are like,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like, we apologize for our outburst.
Just fly away.
Just full Grandpa Simpson, except instead of the head, it's the breath weapon. Bah! You're like, oh, okay. We're gonna skedaddle. Yep.
I love that idea. This is from autocrat underscore Aaron. Did you did you know one of the latest Grand Tour updates is the first mention of Shami Amora? Is that how you say it?
I do because I wrote it.
Yeah, it's the first mention.
Amore.
That's the best flex.
The first mention flex. Of it in the realms, but there's a second part. Is that means that means us at the Forgotten Realms wiki can finally write an article about her. Thanks.
Oh, that's so funny. There is other ones because I know that I mentioned her in Brimstone Angels. I know that they talk about the.
See, we already got source there.
So yeah, I don't know which book. Sorry, you have to read my book.
Also, autocrat, thank you for writing those articles because we read those. Yeah. You're the best. Let's see.
I did not know that was the first, like the first mention. I jumped the gun there, but yeah, I did put that in there.
I like it. Let's see. Reaver01 says, if Asmodeus has no stat block, does that mean technically he cannot be slain? Or does Duncan McLeod just have to run up yelling there can only be one?
I mean, it's viable. You could give that a shot, you know? Yeah, it's definitely worth a shot. I mean, yeah. Speaking as someone who has cut his head off, you know, it'll be done, you know?
Yeah, no, I for me, like, even if it doesn't have a stat block, the things can happen. Story things can change.
Well, Todd statted him out for our final battle in Heroes of the Plains and gave him 1,000 hit points. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to see if I can get a look at those stats. I want to see what that looks like.
It was a long day out. That's what it looked like. A long day out. Yeah.
It's funny. Like, obviously, different canons in this can exist alongside each other because different projects and products and everybody's table is different and stuff. And in my book, they save Asmodeus because they're like, oh my god, if he dies, the whole nine hells is going to just absolutely erupt, and that's a problem. Like, this is the linchpin of the system. If you take Asmodeus out, all of those archdevils are going to fight for spot. So now I'm like, what happened after you killed him?
Nothing good. That's what happened after they killed me. Yeah. That also, like you were talking about how the story, but you just start the story and then the story becomes the truth. That very much seems like something Asmodeus perpetuated. That it's like, I alone am the firmament on which all of this rests. Otherwise, there is unchecked chaos. Like that much seems.
I would definitely put money on Mephistopheles and Glasia going head to head. And friggin' Levistus breaking out of that glacier and making chaos. And
but couldn't you just imagine the stationery, by the way, like the most ostentatious, like from the office of Asmodeus, but it's like it's made from skin, but like moisturized skin, you know, just moisturize me. Yeah, that's
gross.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now I'm going to be thinking about that episode of Doctor Who all day.
You're welcome. There was many layers I just gave you there.
And then it'll eventually lead into toxic being stuck into my head. Because those are related. Let's see. This is from Rex Verde. Question. Are you saying the devils/demons who wrote the history of the Blood War are unreliable narrators?
Of course not.
Who would do such a thing?
I know.
I mean, I'm saying the demons are, but
I like this one. This was from Kaz Kyochi. I think that's how I said. Sorry if it's not. I apologize. I suck at reading things. Question: is there any other wars on the same scale as the Blood War?
That's a Planescape question. I feel like that's. I mean, this one is like it is multiverse spanning kind of, or planers. Yeah, both those.
I just noticed our code is Theb Lud War, and I'm for it now. The Theb Lud War is
the Theb Lud War. That's the other one.
That's a Spelljammer premise there. I would say theoretically. I mean, obviously the conflict to end all conflicts is between Tiamat and Bahamut, who's dumb. So I mean, there is a reality-wide conflict between law and chaos that comes from the two of them and then just descends downwards. But I think in terms of just a conflict where people are actively on the field day in and day out fighting, dying, and then reincarnating in that place to keep fighting, which has to suck a lot. I think it's only the Blood War. Yeah.
The Devil Crayon, which again, great name. Question: if they're fighting over souls, why isn't it called the Soul War? Well, obviously because the demons went into the fight yelling blood, 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 and then like, all right, well, I guess that works.
Translation error.
What makes the grass grow? Blood, red blood.
Actual question, because I've never heard a reason it's called the Blood War. I assume it's just, it sounds cool.
Isn't the river Styx supposed to be just blood?
The river Styx is weird. Like, I don't know if it's specifically blood. I know it's got magical properties that make you forget all the things. Yeah. But I don't know if it's specifically made out of blood.
I don't, that one I'm not sure of.
Apparently it flows through the abyss and into Avernus, which is how the demons get in. Which I was like, all right, I mean, that's because I don't know, I always picture the abyss as just a black void of just chaos.
666 layers plus of chaos.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now I feel like the demons come in riding like the Fruit Loop floaties, you know, like they're just like
they're coming down the river.
Yeah, they're just like coming down the river and then just like hop out and ride.
There's so many things I don't like about this.
Okay, I'll make it worse. They're all just all. What were you gonna say?
Specifically, like these planes are connected by this river.
Oh,
That's the entry point. That the demons are the ones that. But it's okay. I can hate it. I don't need to love it. I love my version, and that's what I yelled about already. Anyway, floaty demons.
I was gonna say I was gonna make it worse because they 100% all have a can of PBR.
That part I love.
Passed out by Gratz.
I like that part.
there's totally just go. Good luck. Yeah. Here you go. Yeah.
Love the blue ribbon.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, PBR to all boys for every demon that's going into the front. Yeah. A friend of mine is from Tennessee, and they would go ride those things in the Chattahoochee River, those floaties, and they call them Fruit Loops because that's what they look like. Yeah. And so they would refer to it as Fruit Loop and the Hooch. So I am from the South.
That sounds like the worst tagline to an 80s show. Like,
now imagine that. But it's the river Styx and the Blood War. That's it. Yeah.
I'm really disappointed that there's not an easy way to make that Fruit Loop and the Styx be anywhere near as fun to say as Fruit Loop and the Hooch.
Sorry, Stabigail the Kobold almost killed me. Stabigail says, Gratz seems more like a Natty Ice guy.
Yo, that is an even broier beer. You're right.
You're right.
He's Natty Ice. He's Natty Ice. He's got a 36 case that he keeps in the trunk year round. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question that is on topic. Fool's Genius 89 question: do demons that die in Avernus respawn in the abyss?
That's a good question. I suddenly don't remember.
I think they do.
Yeah, I think they go back to where they came. They respawn where they came from.
Yeah,
because even if you kill them on another plane, they go back there. Like it's hard to end them.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I think
have to start over. Like, do they start out as larvae when they do that?
Yep.
I believe so.
Little nasty boys.
Yeah.
I'm still not quite over learning the fact that like demons in D&D are essentially Pokemon going through evolutions. Like that still really messes with me. That it's just like, hey, you see this nasty little slime thing? It can be a Baylor one day.
Yep. Don't be nice to it because it will remember you.
Yes.
You know, they got memories like crows. They're like him in particular. That actually be a really great premise where you got like a Baylor coming for your party and it's because one of them stepped on it when it was a larva. Like, and they're like, just a training montage of the larva, wings growing out.
I have the tiger playing in the background.
I like it.
But we're gonna do one more question, just because someone in the chat asked, and they should be informed. This is from Polkit. Question: Erin M. Evans keeps mentioning her book. This is the first time I'm here, so I need the name and publisher so I can look it up.
Oh,
Okay.
hello, first time friend.
Yes. Oh.
So this is the first one.
Hey!
I wrote a 6-book series set in the Forgotten Realms. Like I said at the beginning of the show, and I almost went into it again. Called Brimstone Angels. This is the first book, Brimstone Angels. They are a little hard to find these days in physical copies, but they are easily purchased as ebooks or as audiobooks, and sometimes libraries have them. So give them a read, especially if you are interested in too many facts about demons and devils.
They're good books. Yeah, so I think that's where we're gonna
Dragonborn.
Yeah,
Dragonborn.
lots of Dragonborn, lots of good Dragonborn lore.
Hot sexy Cambians.
Foolish Genius says, how many 4E-isms are there in the books?
Suck it up.
Do you know how many minor actions Frida takes in the first one?
Stop it.
Let's be real. You don't.
At one point, Havilar almost goes down, but it's okay because she still had a second wind.
Stop it.
But it was really great when they got flanking involved. That's where we're gonna.
I made my peace with all of this. Stop it.
That's where we're gonna wrap up this week's episode, friends.
Why
Where can
must
people
you hurt
find
me
you?
in this way? Why must you hurt me in this way?
And what awesome things are you working on? I love you, B-Dave.
I'm Evans. You can listen to me with these guys on our podcast, Writing About Dragons and Shit, where we talk about writing and other things. You can join me on twitch.tv/Dungeon Scrawlers tonight at 6:30 p.m. Pacific for Dungeon Scrawlers, an actual play show with a bunch of fantasy writers that I am going to DM tonight. Monday, we also have a very special show on the 18th at 4 p.m. Pacific